Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Open Road podcast. I am one of your hosts, Rob, and the man in the orange American prisoner shirt is Zach. The idea with this podcast is to chat general car shit, news, and anything that we find interesting over. When are we going to be doing this? Over 2 weeks or a month?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Every 2
So yeah,
Okay.
2 episodes a month.
So, Zach, what have you been up to this week?
I've been at work.
Yeah.
Basically, that's all I can do because it's lockdown. It's national lockdown.
Yeah. I've been sat here for the best part of a month, playing Xbox and sleeping and entertaining myself.
So Rob, tell us about yourself. So Rob, tell us about yourself.
I'm an influencer, apparently. At Bobby P _ JCW on Instagram.
And he's got a YouTube channel that he never uploads to.
Or at the _Open Road _ Club.
That's the most painful thing in the world.
It is, isn't it? Don't know what else there is to say about me, really. I like cars, and I want to make a club that focuses around driving. And that's what the Open Road Club will be, basically.
I am Zach, as Rob pointed out in the beautiful introduction that he gave me. So if you don't know me, I am Zach from RallyRaceGuys. I run the channel. I also run the Instagram accounts, Facebook, etc. Rob is the cameraman when we're not in lockdown, because the UK is currently in its millionth week of lockdown. I thought it would be quite a good idea to start something like that. Me and Rob both agreed that it might be something good to pass the time, especially with our mediocre car knowledge. I've run the channel for about 4 years now. We've just hit 300 subscribers with 31,000 views, which well,
it's a vast array of people.
Yes.
Or is it all just your mum clicking the link repetitively?
No, it's my super computer in the garage.
That room, you've got it like just clicking it.
F5. Yeah. No. Apparently we actually get real views, and we're trying to be as sort of active on there as possible. We've done a lot on Rob's car recently. Both of Rob's cars actually, both Mini and the MX-5, but we won't talk about that. But the Mini had some great stuff done back in July last year.
Yeah, early summer. So I got the Mini back in May 2019, and for the best part of the first year, it just remained stock. And then at the start of 2020, we went into furlough, and I was at home like I am now for the best part of 3 months. And in that time, I didn't spend any money. So coming out of furlough, I was like, right, I got this big pot of money. What do I do? So we took it down to Deutsche Tech, based in Milton Keynes, to have exhaust changes. Had the resonator taken out to make it a lot louder. We made it a bit lower, about 30 mil, and did a complete IVAC springs, and did a full Mini Bits workover. Mini Bits are a company that manufacture cosmetic upgrades for your Minis, and other companies now, but mostly Mini focus group. Got rid of all the nasty chrome on it and replaced it with some carbon fiber. And that's pretty much all I've done. Power-wise, it's the same as it was out of the factory. It's just a little bit lower, a bit louder, and looks a bit better.
Yeah. How come? So this will be an interesting one for the Mini viewers. Why didn't you go for the Pro exhaust? Because I know this is a contention between Mini owners, especially the JCW sort of mafia. Because
so I think
people say it can get raspy, like with the resonator delete, stuff like that.
So to clarify, mine's a John Cooper Works F56 Generation 3. non-LCI for the Mini owners out there, you'll know what I mean. Where the exhaust can sound quite raspy, if you've got a standard stock JCW exhaust that isn't what they call the Pro variant. The Pro was a line of products you could buy from Mini as optional extras when you bought the car new, which just increased performance in certain ways. So either by lowering it a bit or changing the exhaust with a valved system. Now, this valved system, nowadays, I think you can buy them for about 1,400 quid. It's a lot of money, but it is a valved system. You will struggle to find valve systems for much less than that before you start fitting it. So a lot of people tend to go for it. Now, I, on mine, didn't have the money at the time for that. So did instead a mid-box delete, resonator delete. So just took it to Deutsche Tech. They just cut out the resonator and just weld in a bit of piping. And it sounds great. A mate of mine's got a Pro exhaust. And whilst I'd say his sounds a bit deeper tone, I wouldn't say that it's 1,200 quid worth more in money value compared to the noise that you get. The only value in the valved system being that you can turn it on and off so you can have it nice and quiet in the morning. Although with my car, it seems at least that the different driving mode, eco, middle mode and sport mode, is enough to make enough audible difference, really, that it's not horrifically loud when I start in the morning at 6 o'clock. So the resonator delete cost me.
It's still quite loud.
It's loud, but I think like when I start it up outside your unit, I put it in sport mode.
Yeah.
Just to piss you off.
Yes. At 9 o'clock at night as well. I
will admit that on a cold start, regardless really of whatever mode you're in, it is loud. For the first 30 seconds whilst it warms up.
It does quieten down, doesn't it? Once it's
and then it will get loud again if you put it into sport mode. But yeah, the main argument is that people sing the praises of the Pro exhaust, whilst in reality, I don't think you get much more of an improvement audio-wise, even though you're spending 1,200 quid more, and it's a lot of money that you could spend on a remap or proper performance mods, you know. So I went for the resonator delete. Now, where the exhaust can get quite raspy is if you do a mid-box and a back box delete. If you do both of those and you're essentially straight piping it from the cat, then it can sound quite tinny. So I've left the back box in and just got rid of the mid box. And it's still got the cat in because I don't want to risk any more attention from the police than it's already got. So
yeah,
that's the way it's staying.
Okay. What modifications have you got for it coming up? Because we've got some more videos on the channel to come up, but unfortunately, lockdown has held us from recording these, and we want to make more content. But
yeah, I think lockdown has made it hard for everyone to decide what they want to do in the future. I think where the car's concerned, I'm kind of happy where it is, because whilst I could go and spend, I don't know, 400 or 500 quid to get it to a stage, I don't know. I think to do just a tune to get it to a stage 1, 350 quid, I'd imagine, just to do the map. But to be a safe map, and that would take the car from about 230 horsepower to about 300 horsepower, which is a significant jump. The reason being that it's got what's called the B48 inline-4 turbo engine in it, and it's a detuned version of BMW's B48, so it can take quite a bit of power before you need to start changing the internals. But I think if I did run 300 just to keep temperatures down, I'd want to also put an intercooler and a sports cap. So once you've done that, you're talking 1,500 quid, because the sports cap, you're talking 600-700 quid just for that. Yeah. Similar to the intercooler.
Well, it's BMW tax as well, isn't it? So because it's the Mini, it's a modern Mini, you're going to have BMW tax. So
yeah, and also it's not just the cost of the parts; it's the cost of the insurance. If I go in, the insurance is expensive enough. If I then go and turn around to them and say I've mapped it, the price is going to go.
Yeah.
So even though someone might say, "Oh, it's only going to be 1,400 quid to mod it," yeah, but it's probably going to be at least 400 or 500 quid extra on the insurance each year. So it adds up.
Yeah, And that's
So I don't
something.
really.
And that's something people don't actually consider in the long term. People don't even declare mods. Unlike you, I know you're very religious at declaring mods straight away, not even driving out the garage with them. You'll be on the phone, as we found out at Deutsche Tech, for 2 hours. You're on the phone to them,
Yeah.
just to try and get uh, some lowering springs and some spaces on your policy, even though it didn't cost you anything. It was
No.
just a safety factor.
At the end of the day, when it comes to insurance mods, I do know people personally who mod their car to the nth degree and don't declare anything. I think it's one of the most, not just stupid, but inconsiderate things you can do, not just for other people, because one, you could be potentially putting someone out of pocket. Say you crash your car into someone's garden and you knock down their wall and this, that, and the other, and you haven't got a lot of money in the bank, you won't be able to sort that person out financially. It's not just that. Say your car, my car, I'd value it, I could probably sell it tomorrow for about 1,400 quid. Not 1,400, sorry, £14,000.
It'd be a cheap JCW for that.
Yeah. With on the insurance, I think I've insured it for about 16,000 with all the mods declared. I can drive the car and sleep at night knowing that if I was to have an accident, yes, there's an excess to pay, but at the end of the day, I don't lose £16,000. If I don't declare mods, that's that money gone, and I can't afford to lose that kind of money.
Yeah, it will null and void your policy.
Yeah,
that's the one thing people don't.
Marker on your car, it can lead to legal charges. You can go to court, and it all has to come out of your pocket, which essentially means that you have to end up paying for a lawyer, and then you just end up owing a lot more money than you would ever have had to pay on insurance. Yes, insurance is annoying, but monthly insurance payments is a thing. I pay monthly.
Yeah, you should.
I used that. Zach has his opinions on paying monthly for a lot of different stuff. I pay for my car monthly. I'm used to paying. I'm used to thinking how much per month I'm going to have to put aside to get through the month. And thankfully, with the wages I'm on, I can relatively comfortably do that. And I'm happy knowing that as long as I keep working, I can keep enjoying the things I've got. So I'm happy to pay the bit more it costs per month on the insurance to declare the mods. When I declared the exhaust mod, I think it added about 80 quid to the whole insurance total. When you divide it by 12, it's not a lot of money. It's nothing compared to what you'd lose if you crash your car. So please declare your mods.
Yeah, and like we've seen people not declare mods, and it gets to the point where you virtually have to strip the car before you even tell the insurance you've had an accident. And by the time they've done that, if you crash into somebody else, you haven't got a chance to do it. And
no,
like people have died. Like one of our mates. There's just no point. And yeah, we're all for having fun and modifying your car, but just in a legal way.
Just do it in a legal way and in a sensible way.
Yeah. We'll get into more cars later. Rob has set up a sort of a driving club, as he mentioned before, called the Open Road Club. Is that correct?
Yep, the Open Road Club.
Yeah. He'll explain sort of the premise of the club and why it exists and why he set it up. Also the rules of the club, because we can't have a club without rules.
It's important to lay down rules. Rules can be boring, sure, but the rules that we've got are in place more so that we can do our best to continue to do it for as long as possible.
Yep. Any updates and plans and routes and stuff like that potentially that might be happening? Potentially like a photo of the week or poll of the week or something like that. But we do want to stress it's not a mini club. But if you are in the club, you'll get that. Because there are a lot of mini owners.
There are quite a few.
Yeah, just a few, and he's the culprit. We're then going to go on to general car news. So sort of new cars, interesting cars, sort of new parts, interesting companies that we potentially might have seen that week or something, or 2 weeks. Then then we might feature a new Instagram account or a channel or something like that, just that might be of interest to you guys, that certainly will be an interest to us, because we wouldn't try and promote it in any way if we didn't like it. Then we want to go into motorsport news. So we're not just going to ramble on about F1, although we are going to mention it because it is very prominent, especially at the moment. We're going to look at international rallying, national rallying, the WEC and the GT series, sim racing, because that's very sort of in the forefront at the moment, and also any national events that potentially might be taking place. So we won't include everything, but that's sort of what you can expect from us. Every 2 weeks, or we hope to, we want to release a video or podcast on the Sunday. So every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah, so that's what we're stressing. We're not doing this every 2 weeks. We do work. I understand that Rob is on furlough, but I am full-time work. Yeah, you work. I work a very hectic life. And my work-life balance is questionable at times. But I make content because it's passionate. I'm passionate about this, and I like to sort of be on camera. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. So, but yeah. Then if we had a guest on, this is when at the end, that's when we would sort of see who they are. And we got sort of a basic 5 questions. We might deviate from that. So Rob, what is the premise of the Open Road Club?
So I wanted to try and make something like this for a couple of years now. I've never got round to it because either I was too busy or didn't really have the time to sit down and try and fully work out how it could work. With lockdown, this is my second time I've been off work for lockdown. I thought I've got to do something with the time, because last time I just sat around and played Xbox and didn't accomplish a lot. So I want to try and do something that's a bit more meaningful this time, and something that's been quite close to my heart that I've wanted to do for a while is to create a car club, but not a car club where you just meet up somewhere local and go for food and just park up in a car park.
Yeah.
A club that's designed around the thing that I love doing the most, which is driving.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to car meets, I love to meet up with my mates half an hour before and take the scenic route before we get to the meet. That's the bit that I live for. It's the driving with friends from one location to the other. So why not make a club based around that? So the Open Road Club, started the club start of January, a week or so into January.
Yeah.
On Facebook, you can just find it by searching the Open Road Club. It's a private club, but just request to join and I'll accept you in. And so far we've got nearly 300 members, which is crazy.
And we got following on Instagram as well.
Just peaked over 400.
Wow, that's better than the RallyRaceGuys Instagram.
Which in a week's pretty good going. People just seem to like the idea. And the main idea is that we will be creating driving events, both full day and half day events. Half day events will mostly take part in, say, Sunday afternoons, so more local to where we are based. So we're based in Warwickshire, in and around Stratford-upon-Avon and Warwick area. The half day events will be based around here, so North Cotswolds and in and around Warwick and Stratford. And they will be driving events, point-to-point events. And they'll last a couple of hours, just a chill, relaxed afternoon drive out. The main events we're going to be focusing on is the full day events, and these will be a lot longer in distance and a lot longer in time. So our first full day event will be going deep into the Cotswolds, and this will be over a whole day. So we'll meet up at the start location at, say, it's hypothetical, but say 8 a.m. or something like that. And then we will drive in convoy in session to different locations along a pre-mapped route. I'll be using Google Maps to make the route, and everyone who's on the run will get a Google Maps link, and they will be able to see exactly where the route's going, so they don't have to bother trying to play the game of follow the leader, which inevitably goes wrong because convoys get split up all the time from just stuff that you can't control. Traffic lights, this, that, and the other. So the idea that, sorry, caravans, or if like there's a really slow car and a couple cars manage to get past and overtake, but a few get stuck at the corner and they're trying to get round, and then they try and speed up to catch back up, and it can get dangerous. So the idea is that everyone will be able to know exactly where they're going, and they can go at their own pace, really. The hope is that we will be able to stay in a group. It's more fun as a group. And we will go to different points of interest, either something I found that looks quite interesting or just generic fuel stops and food stops. But the bulk of the day will be driving to either a cool photo location or driving to, as I said, a point of interest, I don't know, a landmark or whatever. Yeah. But it's focusing mainly about going to find great roads and enjoy it with friends. And that's what I want to try and build.
Nice. How do they get access to these events? Because currently you're not going to run them because of the national lockdown. But how would you, how do people get to know about these events, and how do they sign up to them?
So at the moment, the spreading of the event is just word of mouth. Tell your friends, invite your friends. If you get into the club, invite more. Let everyone know about it. Again, you can follow us on Instagram, as I said. Just search the Open Road Club. Don't bother trying to get the name correct. Just search the Open Road Club and you'll find it. Once we can get outside, and I think I'll have to leave it till at least we're allowed to meet up in groups outside. Ideally, I'd like to wait until hospitality is up and running again, because it means that we can go and access stuff like cafes to get food. That will make the days a lot easier planning-wise. But that could be several months away, and we might be able to get out and drive before then. So if we can, we'll just do that. The events will be ticketed. They won't cost anything. They will be free. Our first couple of events, we are going to trial a ticketed system using Eventbrite. The idea being, whilst I'd love to see 80 cars in a row going down the road. It would look great, but 80 cars could cause traffic issues. And the last thing that we want is to annoy locals as we drive through their villages or as we drive past their houses. So I think the maximum,
especially we don't want to annoy the local police either, because it will fall back on the likes of Rob, and Rob's just trying to do something.
Yeah,
like not trying to be like dicks.
No, and it's not like the police actively seek out and try and ruin our days. A lot of cops are car guys. From the ones that I've met at events, they like cars, but when they get calls in from local residents saying that there's loads of loud cars, they've got to do something. So the idea is that we will limit the events to a maximum of 25 cars per run. And the way that you can enter, it will be simply first come, first serve. When we get closer to an actual likely date to do our first run, I will set up an Eventbrite link and then post it on the website, on our group pages. I'll give a bit of time beforehand to let people know when they will be going live, so they can get, if they really want to go, they can get ready to click the link when I post it. But 25 cars, it's first come, first serve. If you miss out on the first run, you might be able to get on the next one. But the idea is that we don't want too many cars to make it logistically possible. Because if we go to somewhere like the Peak District and we get to a car park and it's half full of tourists, we can't fit 40 cars in the car park. 15, 20, 25, it's a more realistic number. We don't want to turn up to a place and nearly everyone get in, but then one or two people not being able to stop. And it makes the experience bad for them. So we want to try and keep a hold of numbers. Now, the way that the road link will work, because the tickets will be sold out a way ahead in time to allow people to get ready and pre-plan to make sure they can come to the event. And then the Google Maps route will be posted the evening before to all of those who have had a ticket, so that they know the night before precisely where we're going and the route that they have to take to stay on track during the day.
What are some of the rules that will be around? Because that's what we're not trying to be a dick, but we've got to have rules, because it would end up being a free for all. And you're very conscious of that.
So the main thing that gets car cruises or convoys shut down, and the reason that they like court injunctions, for example, in Birmingham, mean that you can't do convoys through Birmingham. The reason they came into place is because of dangerous driving. No other reason. People can say, "Oh, it's just neighbours saying it's noise." They wouldn't do it unless they had cause to. And people do stupid things when they get excited. I know, I've done it. And we don't like rules, but the main rules are don't be doing burnouts. Don't be causing unnecessary attention to yourself with the loud exhaust. Everyone's got an exhaust. Good for you. We don't care. We don't care how loud it is. You know how loud it is. You don't have to tell everyone else. When it comes to speed, just be sensible. Don't try and go. I don't know. Don't try and seriously try and push your cars on the road. We're there to have fun. It's a cruise, really. At the end of the day, it's to enjoy the road.
It's not a racetrack.
It's not a race. We are simply enjoying the roads in our cars with our mates and enjoying the scenery. So don't draw attention to yourself. And if you do something stupid, you'll be kicked out of the club. It's as simple as that. It's a one-strike policy. If we see you doing a stupid burnout or doing some seriously dangerous overtaking maneuver, that's it. You'll be gone. No second chances. If you think that's boring, leave now. Simple as that. But I don't want to put the club's reputation at risk for people being stupid. If you're
and members as well, because it puts everybody at risk. Because one person being a dick, like
if you're one of our events, be mindful that you're a representative of the event. So no matter what you do, whether anyone else is doing it or not, what you do reflects on the club. So we don't want Karen to be there at the side of the road having a reason to film us. Because if she films us, that's it. The club's shut down. The police will get involved and we won't be able to have fun. So please keep it sensible. I'm not saying drive like a granny, but at the same time, just don't be a dick. As Caffeine and Machine say, just don't be a dick. And you know what I mean by that. Just keep it safe and keep it sensible. That's what I ask.
Yep. And also the other rule is don't invite your mates if you haven't gone to the list.
Yes, that's the other one. So we want to try and keep numbers sensible. If they don't stay sensible, we won't be able to all fit in the car park and it won't be fun. It stays fun when it's possible. If we say 25 cars for the event, we mean 25 cars. We don't mean, you can invite your mates. Because if you invite your mates and you send your mates the map link, then they'll send it to their mates. And before you know it, it could be double the numbers, which will grab police attention, unnecessary attention from people that we don't want. So please, if you get a ticket on the night that you get the map link, please keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Your friends if your friends don't get on that one, they can get on a run in the future.
Yeah.
If you end up missing out on a couple of runs, just drop me a message and just say, look, Rob, I've tried to get in for the last 3 runs and I haven't managed to get in. Just say, and I'll make an exception for a future run. But please don't invite all your mates if they haven't got a ticket, because it will just ruin the event.
Yep. Is there any updates at the moment for the club, for anybody watching? Sort of any plans sort of in the future?
The only real we've got at the moment is just coming up with new routes, places that we think will be of interest. The main ones that people are looking forward to at the moment is the Cotswolds Run, Snowdonia National Park, that's in North Wales. Gorgeous scenery, a series of valleys and just gorgeous sweeping roads that go through them. Brecon Beacons Run, that's South Wales, a similar story to Snowdonia, similar kind of roads. Peak District Run, that should be quite a good fun one. I've been to the Peak District plenty of times on other runs, so I know the good places to go and the not so good places to go. So hopefully it should go okay. Our aim is to do one event a month. So if you don't get on one event, you'll get on one eventually.
Yeah.
And that's basically where we're at. I can't even give you a rough idea of when we can do our first event because we just don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
The government is putting out a announcement towards the end of February, but again, it's just speculation. And as we know with Christmas, the rules can change the day before. So we'll play it by ear, and hopefully I'd like to think in the next 2 or 3 months we'll be able to do something, but we'll just have to see how it goes. And yeah, that's where we are.
Sweet. But that sounds, I can't wait, because previously I had the Polo, and to me, I didn't really attend any of Rob's sort of drives.
My unofficial non-club meets that I did last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So he did other drives last year and subsequent years as well. And I haven't gone to them. The only one I got on to, we went for one, didn't we, back a couple of years ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Sorry?
To the Elan Valley in Wales, which is one of the routes. I didn't mention it. The Elan Valley. It's mid Wales. It's kind of as central to Wales as you can get, and it's a series of dams, reservoirs, within the Elan Valley near a place called Raider. Awesome roads, but they are all single track, very narrow. So if you want to come, be mindful of how narrow the roads are. If you've got something like an M4 or a Mustang, it's just not going to fit. You won't have fun. It's definitely a more hot hatch friendly event, that one. So please don't try and arrive in your big Mustang, because you're just not going to get down the roads particularly easily.
Yeah. And yeah, I had the 205. No, sorry, I had the Polo, and
yeah,
to me, I like when Rob was cruising, I was pushing it, because it was a 1 litre non-turbo Polo, and it's not very fun. But now I've got the BMW, that's slightly more fun.
But
So
to put a flip side on that mentality, if you think you've got a boring car, please don't think that you can't come.
No,
like I said, it's not a race. We're not going to be looking to pushing our cars on these events. So whatever you're in, you can keep up. You know, whether you've got a 1 litre Fiesta, or like if it's your first car, or as Zach said, a Polo, please come. Please don't think because you're in a boring car that you're not welcome. You are.
Or if you haven't got any modifications, like
all that.
My car doesn't. Yes,
I haven't.
Do you? Well,
yeah.
He's got fake carbon. That's it.
It's carbon skin. Thank you very much.
But yeah, like, well, you don't need to come in your drift car or what have you, like daily.
If you want to come in your drift car, you can come in your drift car, but we're just saying that you don't have to have something interesting to come.
No.
The idea is it's just about the enjoyment of driving, and you can enjoy driving in any car so long as you love the car.
Yeah.
You know.
And what's your slogan for the club? Because that's quite prominent.
I'm going to essentially read from my own words here, but I think it sums up quite well the club's stance on stuff. Our mantra is simple. It's about the journey, not the destination. A group that focuses on the open road. We're a West Midlands-based group, and our main goal is just to create driving events for us all to enjoy, for the fun of cars, not because of how fast your car is. You just have to love cars and love driving, and you're more than welcome. If you have any suggestions on decent roads that we haven't already mentioned in our clubs, then please feel free to let us know.
Yeah. When you get into the Facebook group, pop up a photo of your car so we know who you are, because we can.
If you've come from this podcast, let us know.
Yeah, let us know that you are from here, and also put a comment in the group with a photo introducing who you are and what your car is. If you've got multiple cars, put that up as well, because there's a lot of people with minis and Porsches and loads of stuff. So,
and if you do join in and you do wonder, God, why are there so many minis? The reason being, a lot of the people who are the mini owners have just come from my Instagram. So I've been promoting the club on my main Instagram page, which is centered around my mini. I've just got a lot of mini owners that follow me, so it's why it looks like there's a disproportionate amount of mini owners to anything else. But don't worry, there is enough variety of other cars.
Yeah. So I think that does it for the Open Road Club. That's sort of why we started the podcast, was so people could actually have updates, and if they missed anything, it was in video form, not in a stream that you couldn't find. Because you can see this, you can just go onto our YouTube channel, which will be posted on RallyRaceGuys. And so this is the reason. It was sort of to give updates and also to incorporate what we sort of enjoy. So Rob enjoys the cars and sort of more the news kind of thing, sort of being up to date. And to me, it's more about the motorsports. I like building cars. I like modifying them. I like sort of keeping track of who's doing what in the world, but from a different point of view. Me and Rob are mates, but we've got totally two different outlooks on cars. You, for you, you don't mind going to a show and keeping your car clean and stuff like that. I'm building a car to crash it.
Yeah, basically.
Basically.
You're the guy getting dirty, working on his own car. I'm personally not about that. I'm just more about the social aspect more than anything is what I love about the car scene. It's just meeting people, and that's why I want to create this club, to meet more people and also get creators together, because one thing we are looking for on these runs is great photographers and great videographers.
Yeah. People
who can document this to help us spread the idea and let everyone else know what we're about.
Yeah. And I really hope that we can if we give you a GoPro or something that we can rely on you to stick it in your car and have fun and enjoy and document it, even if it's a cheeky little vlog. If you turn it on and go, hey, these are my mates, but actually we want to see that, because we want to see, but we don't want to be a dick, and we're not promoting this to be shut down. We want to continue this. And
it's the main reason the rules are in place, because if people do continually break the rules, then eventually someone's going to step in and they're going to take it away from us.
Yes.
And I don't want that to happen.
And it will be the law.
Yeah.
It will be the law, and it will get
at the end of the day, if someone does something stupid, it comes back on me as the event organizer. I take responsibility for everything that happens. Really, I have to, as an organizer. So if there, God forbid, is an accident or something, that'll be it. That'll be game over. There won't be any more runs. They won't let us do it. So we've got to be mindful of that, so that we can continue to have fun and continue to have more events in the future.
Yeah, definitely. But we want to promote this as much as possible, and we just want for you guys to enjoy it as well. So we get as much enjoyment from making the events and filming it, to actually seeing you guys on the events and actually saying, oh, I really like that, reminiscing about it, because we've just done, I really enjoyed the drive that we went on. So
yeah, it's all about creating memories with friends. That's the main idea. It's just picking up your keys and going out driving for the hell of it, just on an adventure with your mates. And it's also something to look forward to. I think we can all agree that lockdown, I mean, it's nearly been going on and off. It's been going on and off now for the best part of 12 months. We all need something to look forward to. And I'd like to think that this club is giving people something to look forward to, something to go. Whilst we don't know a date for it, it's like, oh, well, at least once lockdown's over, we can do this. And that's what I want it to be, something for people to look forward to.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we've rambled on about that enough. Okay, so that is pretty much it for us, guys, for us two this week. We haven't got really guests. We are the guests this week because it is new. So I think we've covered most things that we wanted to cover. We won't go into the motorsport news or anything like that, because this is
more of an introduction to who we are and what we plan to do, really. Hence the idea of us letting you know what the Open Road Club is about. It's just purely an introduction. We want to use this. I've broken the pen more now. We want to use this as a pen. We want to use this as a platform from which to be able to discuss the club, but also just any other generic car stuff that's going on in the world at the time of recording. We'd love to hear suggestions on what you'd like us to talk about. Again, suggestions on how we can make the club better. Let us know. If you've got any videos of you or any pictures of your car, send them in. We'd like to know what you drive and what you do.
I think that's us, guys. And if you want to put any suggestions down, we are trying different formats and stuff like that. My dog is currently breathing on the door.
She wants in.
He wants in, yes.
Can he be a guest on the podcast in the future?
Yes. He loves cars as much as I do. If you got any suggestions or anything like that, drop a comment down in the comment section. We'll post this on YouTube and Facebook. So we're pretty much going to start now. So we'll see you guys in about 2 weeks.
So yeah, with this episode is definitely going to be it's a slightly different structure to how we want to do it going forward with the regular uploads. The regular uploads will be a bit more structured. This was just kind of a general introduction as to what the podcast is about. And hopefully you like the sound of it and you'll continue to listen to us waffle on in the future.
Yeah, and who we are, because you probably didn't know who we were. Because Rob sits by
two very bored 20-something-year-olds with not a lot much else to do.
Pretty much.
Who we are.
Yeah. So that's us. Thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions, bang them in the comment section. We try and reply to everything because we're that bored. If you drop us a message,
we don't get a lot of comments. There isn't really a lot to sift through, but you know.
No, but we will answer any questions you've got, even on anything. If you want to join the Facebook group, I'll pop a link in the description. But yeah, like and subscribe, and tell your friends apparently about the club and also the channel. And we'll see you on the next episode.
See you later.